Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we actually got some brand new details on the upcoming Battlefield title, Battlefield 2025 or whatever you want to call it, right? And with this, we actually got our first actual reveal of footage. It's not anything too significant, but actual pre-alpha gameplay footage and some details on what to expect going forward with the next title. Ultimately, I view this as a great thing because competition in the FPS space is not something that we've had a ton of as of late. Call of Duty, for instance, as problematic as it's been over the course of the past few years, has largely gone unchecked because Battlefield or Halo or whoever else, one of those mainstream AAA, publishers, AAA games, hasn't really come out with anything to challenge it. We've seen a lot of other random games pop up and really take over. Marvel Rivals came out of the blue, Helldivers, things like that, Splitgate for a little while, X-Defiant, but nothing's really been able to stand up to Call of Duty long term, right? We're still kind of seeing how exactly Marvel Rivals is unfolding, but with this, Battlefield is probably one of the closest comps you can have to Call of Duty, and when there's a good Call of Duty and there's a good Battlefield out, we as gamers just win, right? So first up here, Charlie Intelligence are reporting on this because they're excited about this as well. EA announces the new Battlefield Labs program, which is a new testing program to get community feedback on the next Battlefield. So you'll actually be able to test and help give feedback to the devs when it comes to the pre-release versions of the next Battlefield title that hopefully make the launch version of the game a lot better. There was this on kind of like a smaller scale with Battlefield 2042. I remember I was able to play it a little bit early, do some test feedback. I think I posted some early content on it, flying through tornadoes and stuff, right? But ultimately, it didn't seem like a lot of that feedback ended up pushing for a better launch products because the game launch and it was very problematic, right? They also say they are announcing that the 4 studios are coming together under Battlefield Studios to develop the new games. So they're sort of working in unison rather than having separate studios do separate things. A lot like what we see with Call of Duty now is Raven doing one thing, Treyarch doing another. So this in theory sounds pretty cool. Obviously, the execution is to be determined. We're going to have to see how it all plays out, but certainly some potential here if they're taking a more serious approach to this, really just trying to nail it for launch rather than go with the same old formula and just kind of living off of, hey, it's the Battlefield name, so come check it out. You know what to expect. Really diving into, hey, we just want to make at the core a fantastic game. So let's check out their new video that actually shows off some of the new gameplay. So they've got this 5-minute video here.
Last point in Breakthrough,
which I think is kind of a culmination of other titles.
Together, trying to accomplish something.
Sort of detailing what they want and then showing off new gameplay.
On your head. The vehicle play is the destruction. You've got tanks, you've got jets.
You get a bit sweaty in your palms.
That full all-out military experience.
Which Battlefield does nail. The whole live environment. Call of Duty has live environments, but Battlefield takes it to a new extreme when you have situations like this.
Comes with a long history, spanning over 20 years now. But
Some of the OGs, man, they're good.
How do we continue to build on that and push Battlefield to the next level?
I feel like that's something every single game ever says. How do we take it to the next
I've been playing
step?
Battlefield since long before I joined the team. When 1942 first came out, the amount of fun that we all sat down and had with it
Zampella.
was, still like a fond memory.
If you know, you know.
So in joining the Battlefield team, it was about the opportunity to give that team that space to do something just more amazing even than they've done in the past.
We set out.
Which I won't lie, Vince Zampella working on this and them going to this whole one studio, 4 different studios, but under one name, sort of working in unison, certainly I think gives a good bit of potential here for sure.
This ambitious idea of creating
Cool
this
little
new
setup room.
Battlefield universe. And to make that vision reality, we had to think big.
Again, very cliche marketing.
Studios comes with its own culture and expertise into what we call Battlefield Studios.
Here we go. Everyone's working together.
One team that spans across the globe and combines 20 years of franchise experience with emerging talent.
Potential. Don't say anything about a unified launcher. Just don't do that.
Has such a rich history with Battlefield. We've been working on it for years and years. But we also want to do something bigger and better than we've ever done before. And you can't do that with one studio.
Valid. Again, kind of cliche, but valid.
For the multiplayer part of the game, which
obviously is what we're really focused on, multiplayer.
Systems, class play, squad play, vehicles, gadgets, all of those kind of underlying systems that drive the experience.
We got the Canada
So here
dev
at
team.
We're working on multiplayer maps, and we're also working on single-player mission content. we're driving a cinematic experience.
So there will be multiplayer, there will be single player. I'm curious that they, as we get through the remainder of this video, if they mention anything about Battle Royale, because that's also been one of the leaks and one of the rumors up until this point, is that there's going to be a free-to-play Battle Royale. Hopefully that takes off more than I think Firestorm did, because that had really cool concepts, but then never really got anywhere, which is kind of unfortunate.
To the level that's never been done on Battlefield before.
You got the LA office, Ripple Effect.
Long history of working on the Battlefield franchise.
We're working on an experience that is really going to open Battlefield up to a whole group of new players, but really still exciting that core audience that has made this franchise so successful.
So they're not trying to reinvent the wheel necessarily. They're kind of, I guess, based off of that description, trying to play into their strengths of like, this is Battlefield, this is what it's known for. We want to amplify that level of gameplay rather than, hey, we have to do this new every year. We got to do this new every year, then this new every year.
Decade now, and now we're going to bring that to the table as a fully fledged kind of partner in the Battlefield studios.
Mainly, we've been focused on the single-player experience.
For more single player.
So the campaign is back for Battlefield.
Battlefield 2025 will have a campaign. Again, I'm pretty sure that was leaked for some time.
Many teams and talents dedicated to the development of Battlefield.
So that could be good and that could be bad, right? Like if you have too many cooks in the kitchen, sometimes things can get, you know, screwed up in a capacity. Call of Duty has sort of had the sentiment of, what if there's just too many people doing X, doing Y, and it's just not working well together? There's always the potential for that to happen. There's also, though, when you're all on the same team, when you're all have the same end goal, right? And you're sort of aligned in that process, maybe, yes, then things are smoother. You're not as, you know, tightly pressed for completing this, you know, timeline end date, or you're not so, you know, overworked to have to get something done in some certain timeline, right? There's good and there's bad to this. There's certainly pros and potential. There's also cons that could backfire for sure. And it's really just a, hey, prove it.
To create a new, exciting future for the franchise, alongside our players.
Alongside our players.
Has so much potential.
Battlefield Labs.
So I think it's about giving the team this time to really hone their craft.
We have to prototype, play test, get feedback,
And then repeat that loop.
over and over and over again.
I like the added point of doing that over and over, not just, hey, here's a beta 2 weeks before our game launches, right? Not saying any names or anything, but like it's hard to consider that feedback and actually make you know, significant changes based on said feedback when you don't have a large time frame to react to it.
Find gameplay that really resonates with the players and then build on that.
Classic Battlefield. Here we got Battlefield Labs.
It's our new development initiative where players will get to test specific focus areas in the game.
Introducing Battlefield Labs. Pre-order now.
Things in the past, but this is a whole nother level. We're doing it before we launch the game, and we're doing it with so much more content.
Okay, I'm curious on that. So it's going to happen pre-launch. Obviously, we're going to be able to test the game, give feedback, and hopefully fine-tune it for launch. Beyond that, though, is there something else coming? Like maybe a Battle Royale that's going to be testable too? We'll see. See what they got to say.
To interact with our audience before things go live and make sure that what we have is really fun and polished.
And we have to test everything, combat to destruction to maps and modes.
We're going to test all the new features that we're putting out, and we're going to test hardware like weapons, vehicles, and gadgets.
Okay, so a pretty standard like beta experience.
But also validate what players are expecting for Battlefield.
That feedback is crucial in helping us know what to prioritize, what needs improvement, and what feels like a true Battlefield experience.
We're pre-alpha, so now is the time to
Pre-alpha.
test all the experiences our teams have been building for our upcoming launch and beyond.
And beyond. What is and
Join our
beyond?
Discord, where you can learn more about our new closed testing environment. We call it Battlefield Labs. Let's build Battlefield together.
A cool concept. Now we get gameplay. I mean, it looks like Battlefield. Large scale, insane destruction. Whole buildings coming crashing down. Sign up now. Okay, we're gonna replay this a little bit because I wanna actually look at this in slow motion. We're gonna do the playback speed a little slower. We'll do 50% speed and kind of look at this gameplay again. I'm gonna mute it just because the audio slow-mo is weird. So we get some tank gameplay. We obviously have the reload. It looks like an M4 or something, standard rifle, right? Running straight up a street. Everything is blowing up. You have all these pillars that are like half broken. The initial bricks have been ripped off them. I wonder if you can break entirely through them and this would all come crashing down. But this is what you expect with Battlefield. the map is entirely alive because it could completely change on a moment's notice, where this entire building up there is coming crashing down, right? You come out of the rubble, even more is crashing in front of you. You use an RPG, the whole building. Like, that's actually kind of crazy. We'll rewind this again. He shoots the RPG into this right side of the building, and the blast from it impacts this left side, just behind the face cam. If I go over there and move this, all these like AC units in the windows of this side come crashing down as well. Like, the whole front face of that building comes crashing down. So that's our first, like I said, small little bit of gameplay, but nonetheless gameplay for Battlefield 2025. We're only going to learn more and more about this now as Battlefield Labs does actually take off and players can get in and actually experience this. So hopefully we get some cool gameplay experiences out of that and get cool hands-on stuff. And then as they reveal more and more, hopefully it's all good. As I said at the start of the video, at the end of the day, competition is good. Competition breeds better games for us. If Battlefield does something awesome, Call of Duty has to react and do something better to win back players, just to prove that they're the premier FPS game. And then if COD does something awesome in reaction, then Battlefield's got to react. And then this other game that's trying to make a name for itself has to react, and that just means we get better games. So I'm rooting for Battlefield to have a successful title this time around, because I want that competition in the FPS space for sure. But it's gonna wrap things up for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.